So here's the idea that I have for this 3 Series. I want to keep the original design, pretty much the front fascia as it is. So this part right here, I want to keep that because that to me symbolizes the E30. And if I move around too much in here, it's not going to be an E30 anymore. And also keep the same proportions, so I'm not going to do anything about the proportions of this car. Gonna keep the greenhouse as is as well. I'm gonna keep the chrome lists and the vintage looking side mirrors as well. What we want to do though to make it modern is to bring the whole car closer down to the ground, because on modern cars we don't have this much air in between the bottom of the car and the ground. So I'm gonna extend the whole body of the car and the whole front of the car, so we bring it down to this point. And also I want to do something with the front that makes it look more aggressive and kind of would implement today's manufacturing methods on an old design. I think that would be really cool. So I'm gonna try and make something like something that just makes the front more of a unit. So I'm gonna delete this whole bumper because that's too old school for me. Same with the trim right here. Delete that, delete the rear bumper. Since we're lowering the whole car to the ground, we need to do that in the rear as well. And last but not least, we want to change these wheels, have them stick out just a little bit more, and also lower the car to modern standards. So maybe have the wheel go up to there somewhere around here. I think that's about it. I'm not gonna change the proportions, as I said. I want to keep it an E32. I don't want to make it a bulky modern E30. I just want to modernize some of the design of it, and that's what we're gonna do right now, and I hope you're going to enjoy this progress. I did have a lot of issues with the front. I think you're gonna notice that throughout this video, but at the same time I had a lot of fun doing this. So let's jump into the transformation of the BMW E30. Before jumping into digital, I do always want to start with pen and paper because it's such a simple way to just get started and get warmed up and get some lines down on the paper. As you can see, I'm just using a regular big pen, and this is print paper, trying to get some proportions down and trying to figure out the general basic geometries of the E30. BMW had some issues. The shoulder line is a bit high here, and I ran out of paper to the left. But I still wanted to continue this sketch and finish it off. Gonna make a side view at the bottom of this as well. Add some cool gray marker. I'm just gonna use actually it's a neutral gray 5 I'm gonna be using for these 2 sketches. Just to get some shading in there and make it look nice, a little bit nicer. I could just stop with a big pen, but you know, when I have these lines down, it's kind of hard to not add some markers to them because it's so much fun and such a quick way to just add some value to the sketches. And also when I'm done with the markers, I like to add some more line weight to the sketches using my big pen. I'm going to be doing that once I'm done with these markers here. That will give it some more depth and also some more contrast. And contrast is key when you're sketching, especially on white paper, because you want to have some 100% black parts in there to make it look to add some depth to it, basically, and it's an easy way to do that with a big pen. So once we're done with this, I'm going to jump into Photoshop, and then we are going to start redesigning our BMW E30. Alright, so let's jump into Photoshop right now. I have my tablet ready to go, and let's redesign this E30. The idea that I had starting out was to keep the vintage feel of this E30. I don't want to redesign it too much. For example, I want to keep the front fascia as it is. The black part where the grille is, where the kidneys are and the headlights are, I want to keep that as is, because that to me, as I said before, is the symbol for the BMW E30. And if I change that too much, it's not going to be an E30 anymore. What I wanted to work with though is the body panels and the lower parts of the car, and also the wheels, of course. I want to keep the greenhouse as it is. But the problem that I had was I had some issues with the line flow of this design. I didn't know how I wanted to kind of work on the front part to make it look modern, but at the same time keep the old school look of it. That's the issue. And also, I don't want to make it too flat. That's the problem I had a few rounds here. All of this is gonna change by the end of the video. I make probably 3 or 4 different versions of this car, and the final I show you all of them because I want to show you the progress of how I make these videos. It's not just one take, bam, and it's done. Everything is perfect. I go through 3 or 4 different versions, and sometimes I choose to share them with you. Sometimes I choose to just cut them out. But in this video with the E30, I'm going to show you the whole process. So I was kind of happy with this right here, but then I took a coffee break and I came back. And I don't know if you've been doing any creative work or writing or sketching or whatever, painting. If you take a break from your work and then come back and look at it again, you have a totally different view of how it looks from when you looked at it the last time. You can get kind of blind to what's going on. So when I came back to this, I thought that we have a problem in the front here. The front is way too flat. It looks way too boring. I need to add some more lines to it and some more you know, curves and interesting things in the front bumper. So that's what I did after a while. I also worked on the headlights here, as you can see. I wanted to make them modern and make some halos and LEDs in there. That's one of the things that doesn't work today. You can't have the old light bulbs, the vintage light bulbs in there. You gotta have some new style of the headlights, and this is the problem that I was talking about. I came back after the coffee break and I saw that this is not gonna work, and I started to redesign the front end and make some more interesting creases and curves and shapes in there, just to have something to look at that's not just a flat surface, if that makes sense. But as you can see later on, I thought I was happy with this as well, but I'm gonna come back one more time because I do not like this curve that goes right under the awesome license plate there. So I'm gonna change that before I'm really happy with this design, and you're gonna see that soon as well. And as a final touch, of course, we want to add some small details, such as air ducts or vents or diffusers or whatever you want. And also check the perspective by flipping the image. It's the easiest way to check that everything is looking good. Add some contrast, super important, especially for this cool red color. I wanted it to almost glow, and I do that by adding some contrast to the color and also to the highlights, of course, as well. So right here I'm changing the curve that I was talking about. I was not happy with it, so I just made it more straight and not like a full smiley face. That's what it looked like after a while, and I think it looked way better this way. And that's about it for this video. I'm gonna come back and talk about all the changes that we made in a bit here, to just wrap up exactly what happened in this design and what the thoughts were. Look at that, look at this difference. So let's talk about what we did here exactly and kind of get a understanding of what happened here during this redesign session. So what I said in the beginning, I wanted to create some sort of union or some sort of just make the front more like a solid piece and kind of frame it in somehow. I didn't know how I was gonna do that until I started to sketch on the original car up here. So that's what we did with the front, and also created of course a new bumper. We deleted all these old pieces that look like well, obviously they are a bit old, so I don't want to have them in there. We don't need the fog lights either. And also lower the front down, so we have the front part going all the way down here, which is pretty standard for modern cars today. Same with the side, wanted to lower the side down here, and as you can see at the bottom picture, we did that as well. Deleted that, deleted this, and also extended this rear as well. I wanted to keep the greenhouse because to me that's one of the things that I wanted to keep, to have it reminiscent of the stock E30. So I don't want to go overboard with styling and create a completely new car. I wanted to redesign the E30 in a modern way. So these lists and these side mirrors are fine for me. I don't really mind that they look old. It kind of adds to the whole overall picture or image of this move over E30. Also, same thing with the wheels, one of the modernized wheels. So this gap right here just looks very, 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 very ugly. So we need to remove this gap, bring up the whole tire, the whole set of wheels, and also add some BBS racing, because that to me is a perfect wheel for the E30. And also another thing, these lights, they don't work in by today's standard, so let's add some angel eyes or some LED rings, and also have some full LED or xenon light. I think xenon is getting old now too, but just modernize the whole assembly and keep the grill as it is. I lowered it a little bit just because you have this chamfer right here that we created, so I wanted to lower the top part of this grill, and that's what we did as well down here. Keep the red, but I wanted to have some candy effect, and you can see that here on the side right there. I love this shade, and I love adding contrast and highlights to the color. It just makes the whole thing pop. And then of course sign your creation, and then we are done. And that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I enjoyed making it, because this was a lot of fun to do this car. And if you like this kind of videos, hit the subscribe button. And if you haven't seen my other redesign videos, I have a playlist called, I think it's called Car Makeovers. You can check through that. I think you're gonna have to see some cool stuff and have a lot of fun watching that. I will see you in the next video. Take it easy.